Hey, Trump, yeah. Who was the worst president in U.S. history? Biden.
Joe Biden, the worst president in American history.
Yeah, run with that narrative. Yeah, go ahead and run. Nah, I just want you'll see when you come back. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. And we got a moment of silence. The Board of Peace had a moment of silence for the passing of weirdo J.D. Vance's lame joke. Dead silence. Even they hate that guy. Come on. It couldn't have been that bad. I mean, it said Board of Peace in the back of there. We know who's on that board. Everybody should have been in a laughing mood.
Thank you, Mr. President, very much for your leadership, but also for the kind words about me personally. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but then after the president said that I was so smart and that I didn't want to repeat our congresswoman who froze for 20 seconds over in Munich, now I'm tempted, sir, just to freeze for 20 seconds and just stare at the cameras, and maybe they'll say nice things about me like they do about Congresswoman Cortez. But I have three very brief messages.
Yeah. I might have to be silent for the whole rest of this recording. That was tough. JD, you didn't ask Erica Kirk to help you with no jokes? I know she got jokes. I seen that TPUSA halftime show. Huh? Y'all fell out? What happened? You went through her phone?
We are all now at the point where we realize there's just more than meets the eye with Erica, full stop. Yeah. And there's been some life lived. Mm-hmm. I think that's putting it mildly. There's been some life lived, and I'm uncomfortable with the amount of inconsistencies that have presented themselves in her story. The connections with so much sex trafficking. I've even got something that I'm going to reveal tomorrow about her parents having worked with somebody that was accused, something to do with children. It's just, it's a bit too much.
Wow. Yeah, that was quite the 4 a.m. argument. Now, I thought I heard some noise. I thought I heard some noise. Now I know what all the commotion was about. Well, look, you in the Trump administration, so y'all get over this kind of affairs and nonsense quickly. You know what? Why don't you do the Elon Musk and just have another kid? Oh, she is? JD and Usha are expecting another child. I guess she wore that thing he likes. Nope. Ain't no way. You know she wouldn't have put on a brown couch. Ain't no way. That would have been a white sectional. Come on. That would have been a white sectional. He does like the brown. Oh, because it hides the mascara and the makeup don't stain?
Okay, Usha, just do it. You've got to do it. You have no choice. After that hug, this is the only option. Okay. Fuck. Okay. God, I don't want to. Okay. No. God, this is embarrassing. Damn it, Erica Kirk. Okay. What have you done with your life, Usha? Oh. Okay, hang on. Is this good? Okay. My knees no. Okay. Hey, JD! I have something special for you!
I will tell you that was pretty good quality. That was pretty good quality. You got to send a note to Goodwill when you donate that, though. You can't just donate it like it's regular. You know, that's, wow. Yes, you coming up nothing but L's, JD. Ever since you got booed at the Olympics, nothing but L's. Yeah, I seen you on Fox News.
So I want to just put up a poll. This shows congressional vote preference. This was at the end of January, so just a few weeks ago. Of all voters, Democratic candidate preference at 52, GOP candidate at 46. We've got a long way to go, but obviously that number would not be good for the majority.
That would not be good. I will say, as much as we love Fox News, we always think Fox News has the worst polling. Me and the president agree on that. I'm sorry.
I can show you other ones that are very similar, but since they're ours, I show ours.
You sure, JD Vance? Oh, man. I ain't been this tickled since Wall Street Journal aired out Kristi Noem. Yeah, let them fight starting early this year. Oh, no, he was crying on the inside. I know he was crying on the inside. And he gonna cry in the car.
He gonna cry in the car.
Oh, no, it's more where that came from, JD. Rasmussen polls are the most Republican-leaning, Trump-friendly pollsters in the U.S., especially in presidential approval ratings and election polling. Post this everywhere. They chose to get on this Trump-tanic. Who did a better job as president? 48% to 40% say Joe Biden from Rasmussen. Man, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's like on Change Your Heart where you say together and she had to change her heart. That's it. Hey, Rasmussen had to change her heart. They had to change her heart. And apparently so did Fox News. And don't think you just gonna fire them, because that's part of the problem. Jobs added, Biden in 2024, 1.46 million. Trump in 2025, 181,000, an 87% decrease. Hey, JD, you better go on and jump ship. You better go on and declare and jump ship. You're going to end up like Pam Bondi. I'm telling you that right now. If only we had just a proper moment to commemorate just how far the Trump administration has cratered with the people.
President Donald John Trump. Look at this. I got 4 numbers across.
Hey, Harry Enton, you got Yahoo up there. You didn't want to put in Alta Vista or Lycos or nobody? AOL don't got a poll nowhere?
For you on this screen here, they are all second-term lows for the given pollster. What are we talking about? AP North, 26 points below water. NBC, 22 points below water. Yahoo, YouGov, 20 points below water. Quinnipiac, 19 points below water. So we're ranging from negative 19 points all the way to negative 26 points. You know, Kate, there's this question that folks keep asking.
What does Hotmail have to say about Trump's approval?
You know, where is the floor for Donald Trump? And I'm not sure there is a floor, because if there is one, Donald Trump, at least in term number 2, has just fallen through it to another low level.
You cooking. You cooking, Harry Enton. You cooking now. A sub-basement. We call it a sub-basement? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Underground tunnels. See, they exploring underground tunnels underneath where the former approval floor used to be. Trump spent so much time underground, he done expanded the DC metro system. He got the purple line opened up and everything.
How does this compare with his first term, and how does this compare with Joe Biden?
Okay, so we look at these numbers right here. One of the things that Donald Trump had been arguing, his proponents have been arguing, oh, you know what, he's doing better than he was doing in term number 1. No longer is that the case. What are we talking about here? Okay, net approval rating at this point in the term. Look at this. 22 points below water on average when you average all the pollsters from the last slide. That is actually lower. That is lower than he was at this point in term number 1, when he was 17 points below water. So he's doing 5 points worse, and he's doing way worse than Joe Biden was doing at this point in his term number 1, when he was 13 points below water. So the bottom line is this: Donald Trump is setting new records for himself in term number 2, setting new records for himself compared to where he was at this point in term number 1, and he's doing worse than Joe Biden, which is, of course, the comparison that Donald Trump does not want to be, because we all know what happened to Joe Biden. His party lost the House in term number 1, that midterm elections, and of course, Joe Biden was not reelected to another term. At this point, the numbers are no bueno for the president of the United States.
Hey, Trump, yeah. Who was the worst president in U.S. history? Biden.
Joe Biden, the worst president in American history.
Yeah, run with that narrative. Yeah, go ahead and run. Nah, I just want you'll see when you come back. Also notable, why is it all the minuses on the screen for Trump 1, Trump 2, and Biden? Then the last 3 presidential elections we had, just a bunch of minuses on the screen. Out here looking like my 2K ratings if I played in the league. We need Obama back. I mean, really. Obama, don't tease us. We got 3 minuses on the screen since you left.
What's driving this that you're seeing right now?
Okay, Kate. You know what? This is the segment. We have done it over and over and over again because he keeps setting new lows for himself. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about independence. We're talking about independence. When you lose the center of the electorate, you lose the American people. Trump's net approval rating among independents, you know, at this point, you go back term number 1, he was 17 points below water. Now, according to Quinnipiac, he is 27 points below water. I don't understand how this works out well for the President of the United States. When you are 27 points below water, underwater, with the center of the electorate, with independents, you lose, your party loses. You know, I've made the comparisons before, you know, oh, he's more underwater than Greg Louganis. I've made the comparisons with all those different divers. And the bottom line is this, you can continue to make those, but over time, when you keep making those same comparisons, they run a little bit old. But at this point, I don't really know who to even compare Donald Trump to because he's just so low, and he's so low with the center of the electorate.
Can only be compared to himself.
That's correct.
He more underwater than Cuba Gooding Jr. in Men of Honor. Anybody seen Men of Honor? Well, we can't have a Black Diamond movie? I mean, come on. Trump. That's crazy. Hey, you can only be compared to yourself. That's how bad it is. You out here moving like somebody intentionally trying to get somebody to break up with you. I'm just going to keep, you know what I mean? I'm just going, the bottom done falling off. I'm just going to get worse and worse.
City boy!
Now, here's something that rubs me wrong about all of this, because Trump is setting new lows when it comes to people's dissatisfaction with his performance in office, only breaking the last time that he was in office. In the time in between him being in office, we saw the full ramifications of the pandemic that he mismanaged. We had a whole insurrection. He picked up 34 felonies, went on the campaign trail with concepts of a plan, gave up towards the end and just started dancing to YMCA and openly flouted his relationships with billionaires, with Elon Musk propping him up and jumping up and down completely uncoordinated on stage. And then the second he takes office, we see even worse approval ratings than we saw the first time before he somehow pulled states that he was never able to pull in 2016. And that's before we get to the Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Charlie Kirk of it all. No, that don't smell right. That don't smell right at all. And there's a reason why come January 6th of 2025, I was beating that drum on why we didn't hear more on getting full verification of what happened in November of 2024. Go get Kamala. No, because she should see this.
Regrets of some folks had a few. What are we talking about here? Well, let's just take a look here. Okay, choice for 2024 presidential election. The actual was Donald Trump winning by about 1.5 points. It rounds to a point. But take a look here. In a polled redo between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in April of 2025, it was within the margin of error, right? Kamala Harris by a point. But look at where we are now, according to an NBC News SurveyMonkey poll. Kamala Harris wins in a redo, asking folks, essentially, if you could redo the 2024 election, how would you vote? She wins it by, get this, 8 points, a massive shift from what we saw back in November of 2024 when Donald Trump won by a point. And I will note that this sample was weighted to the 2024 result in which Donald Trump won by a point, but yet Kamala Harris in this weighted sample, get this, she wins by 8 amongst a sample that voted for Trump by 1.
Harris regrets. Harris now clearly leads Trump in a 2024 redo. Big implications for 2026. Dems for Congress are holding on to Harris voters more than the GOP is holding on to Trump voters. Harry, you sure there was a shift? Are you sure there was a shift? Ain't a whole lot of new information been gleaned in the past year for us. So, man, nah, I'm not rocking with it. I'm not.
The good news is Kamala Harris, for her, wins the 2024 election. The bad news is it's actually 2026, so it doesn't count for her.
I would also like to add, if there's anything we learned in 2024, just because people declare via a poll that they would vote for her, given a redo, certainly does not mean that they would vote for her. You know, there's that whole thing called the Wilder effect, which those of you who don't know the Wilder effect, it's like a combination of two long-standing human conditions, full of sheet and closet racist. Okay, now full of sheet has been afflicting humans for as long as we've been able to communicate. You know, when one caveman came back and he lied and said he had 4 berries when he really had 9 because he wanted to keep the other 5 for himself and go parlay with the Neanderthals down the block. Okay, the full of sheet has been with us for that long a period of time. And closet racist is like when that caveman's partner realized they're going to parlay with the Neanderthals down the block, and she starts spreading all sorts of rumors and lies about the Neanderthals and how they move so they can close ranks. So that's closet racist. Okay, so closet racist, between closet racist and full of sheet, the combination of the two of those give us the Wilder effect. You say you gonna vote for him or her. You say you gonna vote for the black or the Latino or the gay or the woman or whatever the case may be, but Trump 47.
He's out of line, but he's right.
You know what? Well, they did say they was gonna vote for Obama, and they definitely did vote for Obama. So we probably need him back.
Okay, so you see this, and as John was laughing about, the fact is the 2024 election is good, gone, goodbye. But it has a massive impact, this voter sentiment, on what may happen later this year. Why do I say that? Because let's take a look at the vote for Congress, and this is very important, all right? 2024 Harris voters, they vote for the Democrats on average by, get this, 89 points. The Trump voters mostly stick by the Republicans, but by a significantly smaller margin, by 83 points. This means that the Democratic base that voted for Kamala Harris is sticking with those congressional Democratic candidates to a much greater degree than those Trump voters are sticking with the Republican candidates for Congress, and that is why what you're seeing on that generic congressional ballot is Democrats leaping ahead by this point by about 5 points, because at least at this point, the Trump voters are not sticking by the Republicans as much as the Harris voters are sticking by the Democrats.
Yeah, and these numbers may not look that different, but this 5 points, which is roughly what that is, that really could be hugely important come November. This is people who did vote in 2024. What about those perhaps who did not?
Okay, so part of the equation, right, is that the Harris voters are really sticking with those Democratic candidates more so than the Trump voters are sticking with the Republican candidates. But it's more than that. It's also people coming off of the sideline. Okay, voters' choice for election for the 2026 congressional elections. If they didn't vote in 2024, look at this. Democrats are winning that vote by a significant margin, by 16 percentage points. So you add onto that the Harris voters sticking with the Democratic candidates, all of a sudden you see, hey, this is the way that Democrats are going to get back their congressional majority. And more than that, I will note that in 2024, of course, the Trump voters, or the people who voted for Trump, he actually won a larger share of those non-2020 voters. So it's not just what we're seeing here, historically speaking, that, hey, non-voters vote Democrats. That was not the case in 2024. And when you put it all together, Mr. Berman, you put all of this together, what do we get? It's not just the House. It's the Senate as well. Democrats' chance to win the Senate a year ago was 19%, according to Kalshi, 30% 6 months ago. And now Democrats have a 40% chance of taking back the U.S. Senate.
Well, that is good news. That is good news. I was pretty surprised that many people who did not vote in 2024 are answering polls. Are y'all going to participate or not? Y'all answering polls and didn't bother to show up in 2020. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, if you did not vote in 2024 and help usher us into this authoritarian nightmare, we got banners of Trump outside the DOJ, for goodness sakes, like we straight up North Korea. But you want to answer a poll? We gonna have words. That's all I know. We gonna have words. Bring Ice Cube. That's fine. That is totally fine. Hold on. Now, unfortunately, that's not to say all of the news is rosy in Democratic land these days.
Governors have a whole lot of power, and there's all this talk of a Democratic wave. But the gubernatorial races nationwide should stand as a wake-up call for Democrats, because take a look here. The race raiders, governors post-2026 election, at least tilting to the Republicans. Look at this. A majority, 26. That is, at this point, the number of governors that are expected, at least tilting towards the Republican Party at this point. Democrats come in at just 20. The rest of the races are toss-up. Of course, you sum up to 50. And I will note that the Republicans right now hold a 26 to 24 gubernatorial seat advantage. So at this point, it doesn't look like Republicans on the net and the aggregate are actually going to lose any governorships. In fact, when you add in those toss-ups, they may gain. So this should stand as a major wake-up call to Democrats, because if there's a wave building, it has not, at least at this point, hit the state level when it comes to governorships.
Hey, MAGA. You remember how y'all used to believe in states' rights? You realize the governorships was to your advantage now that you have completely nuked and obliterated state autonomy. Well done. Well, you're about as forward thinking as Trump has been in his handling of the Epstein files.
Extreme interest. This is not going away here.
No, it is not going away. If the Trump administration, and Donald Trump in particular, believe that they can wish this story away, the American public have a different tune to sing. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at Google searches for Epstein. In fact, in the month of February, it is higher than it's ever been. Up like a rocket, up 900% versus a month ago. And the top name associated with Googling for Epstein, well, it is Donald Trump. So the story isn't not going away. It's actually getting searched more and more and more, becoming more relevant in the minds of the American public.
It's so interesting. This is, more than it was when Congress voted to force a release, and more than it was when they actually released some of them, more than it was when they released more of them. Now it's the most it's ever been.
The most it has ever been, and the previous highs were also very high.
All right, let's talk about what this means for President Trump. How do people view his handling of the whole issue?
Yeah, this is bad political news for President Trump. Yesterday we spoke about the fact that Donald Trump's overall approval rating, his net approval rating, was at a record low for term number 2. What is the worst issue for Donald Trump of any of the major issues? Look at this. We got them all up on the screen. Immigration, foreign policy, the economy, trade and tariffs, and then all the way down at the bottom is the Epstein case. Look, he's underwater on immigration, foreign policy, the economy, and tariffs, all between minus 16 and minus 25 points. The Epstein case, though, is on another planet. Look at this. Negative 39 points. He's 39 points underwater. Basically a split between 30% approve and 70% disapprove. The Epstein case is not the story the Trump administration, and Trump in particular, and Republicans at large want in the news, because it is a big political loser for him, and these numbers have remained very consistent. No matter which poll you look at, he's about 40 points underwater in the Epstein case, by far his worst issue, and he's not actually good on the rest of mine.
Yeah, from a political standpoint, ABE, anything but Epstein, really, for President Trump.
It's bad when you lose Shawn Ryan. That's right. You lost Shawn Ryan.
I've been pretty quiet about Pam Bondi in front of Congress the other day talking about how the Dow's up to 50,000. Nobody gives a fuck, because what you should be talking about is how you are going to investigate and prosecute any that were running around on Epstein Island that you're affiliated with. But we didn't talk about that, did we? Oh, and what's the excuse? What was the excuse? Oh, if we prosecute everybody, the whole system would go down. Well, you know what that sounds like? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like how Trump ran his campaign. Let's drain the swamp. Doesn't that sound a lot like draining the swamp? It actually is drain the swamp served up to you on a silver platter. But you're not going to take it, are you? You're going to protect. You're going to protect rather than go after them and hope that everybody's happy that the Dow hit 50,000. Are you out of your mind? I guess the whole drain the swamp campaign promise was another bullshit lie, huh? Man, the lies are stacking up fast. I've never seen so many lies appear in, what, a year? It's only been a year. Look at all the lies.
I can tell you this, Trump. There's only one last piece of information that people need. Now that you would lose to Kamala Harris in a rerun, got approval ratings not only below Biden, but below you, which I didn't never think I would saw a president bad as you at 45. I never thought that would happen. But, you know, sometimes I watch a game and I'm like, I think that's the worst play I've ever seen. And then he come back the next year and I'm like, nah, he's worse. That's exactly what happened. That's pretty much exactly. He's not going to get better. He's definitely not going to. Like Ben Simmons. Like it's a Ben Simmons situation. You know, you watch Ben Simmons like, I ain't never seen this before. And then the more you watch him, he just shows you, he explores the studio space of stuff you didn't think was possible in the worst way. So there you go. Between a year plus of your administration, between y'all getting dog walked and all of these special elections we've seen and all the midterm projections, it's only one other piece of information that your voters need to hear. But, you know, they're not going to listen to me.
Don't vote. Do not vote in the midterms. The Republicans have to lose. They have to lose. They have to crash and burn. A cleansing fire is the only thing that will save us. It cannot be fixed. Fuck them. Trump, MAGA, all this stuff. It can't be fixed. If it could have been fixed, it would have been fixed in 2025, but it wasn't. They made every mistake. Liberation Day, disaster. Doge, disaster. Big Beautiful Bill, disaster. Epstein files, disaster. Iran, disaster. The personnel, Mike Waltz, disaster. Ratcliffe, disaster. Rubio, disaster. Pam Bondi, disaster. All self-inflicted. Trump personnel, Trump policy, Trump strategy, Trump playbook. We tried it your way. It didn't work. Fuck you. Now we don't vote. That's the message.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Now I say let him cook. You know, send him some Lowry's and some adobo because he gonna burn that. Just send him some of the seasonings down there. I want to make sure as many people consume this as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Well, we did it. We finally hit another milestone.
Yay!
Hey, put your shirt back on. What you think, you in the cabinet? That's right, we passed 700. I ain't been this excited to pass 700 since I took my SATs. Oh. No, that was just on the math section. I didn't have a whole 700 score. Well, see, SATs used to be out of 1,600. You know, I'm not going to explain this to y'all. Y'all got me explaining the olden days, got me feeling old. I talk about the good old days and I get up limping for no reason whatsoever. Wikipedia is your friend. Yeah, boy. And as we always do, we gonna party. But I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to all the people whose work have led us here, starting with our editors, Denzel and Boz.
What? Bro, let's get straight to it. On my mama, we lit.
If y'all got issues with any of the videos, y'all blame them.
That's cold-blooded.
If you like it, then I did it, because I be editing sometimes too. You know when I edit, because the audio be all over the place. You know, the audio get loud for no reason. That's how you know that I edited something. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my man David Threefall, who is not only responsible for all of the thumbnails, but as well as creating the intros and the outros for Street Politics and Troubled Waters and Races of the Week. He did them all. Who Raised Y'all? He organized and created all of those intros and outros that you see and enjoy on the channel. So shout out to him. And by the way, if you're looking for any of that kind of stuff, make sure you give him a shout.
I need it!
One day I'm going to show y'all some of the outtakes, some of the rejected scenes from the creation of all of those. That might have to hit the members channel before too long. But if you're looking for any of that kind of work, you can hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com and I will pass you along to him. Of course, our head moderator, Mrs. Ray, always keeping things moving and keeping things on point. Shout out to her, as well as for organizing my email.
Yeah!
Wouldn't nobody get answers if it wasn't for Miss Ray. Y'all just be like seeing an old classmate in the grocery store. I'm just gonna keep it pushing. If he don't see me, he won't miss me.
What do you mean by that?
And of course, where would we be without Regina doing the Lord's work on research? She reaches far and wide, and all of the ways in which you guys always talk about how the clips are always on time and relevant, and all the videos are so in depth and you get so much good context. That is thanks to Regina. So shout out to her. But she been sparing Ohio. I've been seeing how y'all been moving Ohio. Regina's trying to protect you. It ain't gonna work. I got something for you. I got something for you. Of course, I want to give a shout out to all of our current mods, including lovely Nola, Deshauna, Kristen, and I believe Mimi is on the way as well. Shout out to her. And of course, I got to give a shout out to all the people over at Patreon, especially the people that keep the Patreon chat moving. Did y'all know we have a 24-hour Patreon chat? Patreon.com/Reese Waters. My man TP and Daniel Witters and Keith Green and Treva, so many people out there, as well as people that actually go from Patreon to YouTube and back again. April Hughes, Denatra, Joyce Samples, Sarge Tech, Roberta, all you guys so much. I really appreciate all of your support, all of your love, all of your encouragement, keeping this channel going and get us pushing to and past 700K. 700K? What, they think we buying Nicki Minaj bots? That's too high.